This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Sean's got to kind of get everything set. How you doing, Ira? You hanging in there?
I'm doing good. I'm back with the same bad curtains in Atlanta I was at for the weekly show last week. It's crazy, Big O. 3 games against the Hawks in like a 12-day period here. And it's funny, when the series started, I was like, okay, if they split the first 2, I'll be fine. And then you sort of realize the Hawks are terrible. And it's just in an ultra-competitive Eastern Conference, it's crazy that a team that made last season's Eastern Conference Finals might miss the playoffs this season. So obviously things are changing in the East, but on top of the East, it's crazy. 2.5 games separate the top 6 teams. This is going to be a fight to the finish.
Watching the game the other night, and it didn't take this game. It takes his whole freaking career to watch what he's done. But we talk about Shula, and we talk about Riley, and we talk about Ron Frazier. Coach number 4 has to be Spo. If we start to put together the 4 best coaches in South Florida history, I don't know, but I think Spo's in there in that category with those 3 other gentlemen, which we all know those are the guys we hold, above everybody else. Spo looks young still, you know what I mean? But he has accomplished so much, and more than probably any other coach in South Florida history outside of the aforementioned 3 guys I mentioned.
And I'm going to disagree with you. Maybe this will become a talking point later on the show after Acura Pembroke Pines report. I think based solely on heat body of work, you might have to put Eric Spoelstra ahead of Pat Riley. Now, Pat Riley has the Lakers, he has the Knicks.
That's the problem. The Frazier, Shula, and Riley, I talked about this yesterday. They not only were great coaches, but they created cultures.
Yes.
So that's probably why I put the 3 there and Spo's my 4th guy. On the coaching side, you are so right. He's
2 championships
as accomplished or more accomplished than all of them. Yeah.
And again, you could tell me that Pat Riley was the mastermind who added to Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James, and of course he did. But Big O, now that we've seen in history, just because you have great players doesn't mean you automatically win. We're seeing that now with the Brooklyn Nets. So what Eric Spoelstra did with LeBron, and it's interesting. 2-3 weeks ago, maybe before that, LeBron was saying Frank Vogel might have been his best coach ever. And then the last month happened. And then you sort of look back, and you know what? Yes, Ty Lue did help him win a championship in Cleveland. I'm not going to downplay that. But I think you can make a strong case that Eric Spoelstra was LeBron James's best coach ever. So the difference is this, and I don't mean this in a bad way. Pat Riley had an ego and still does. God bless him. It makes him what he is. The slick back hair, the Armani suits, that's part of his thing. Don Shula had a loud voice. I still remember going to when they used to practice in what was called St. Thomas, and he would just curse you out and not think twice. I was afraid of the man, even though, we learned he's a very good person, God-fearing, devout, and all of that during his career also. So I get all of that. Eric Spoelstra wants none of this. Eric Spoelstra couldn't give a rat's butt publicly whether he wins Coach of the Year. And I've got to tell you sort of an interesting story. Eric Spoelstra is very worried right now because the All-Star game is February 20th in Cleveland. And if the Heat keep winning, and now with Lonzo Ball out for the Bulls, Eric Spoelstra might have to coach All-Star Weekend. And as much as the Heat culture over the years, Big O, and you know this, has been to never tank unless you're going, to try to get Derrick Rose, I really do wonder if we get to that February 6th, February 8th cutoff for coaching, and if one more loss would keep Eric and Nikki and the kids in South Florida or some warm destination.
He won't do that. He won't do that. You know that.
Okay, but let me ask you this. But if you put Eric Spoelstra in the lie detector and says, do you want to be in Cleveland, Ohio on February 20th as the face of the Eastern Conference, what do you think the lie detector is going to say, Big O?
Oh, no. He's gonna say, hell no, I don't want to be there. No, I get that part, but it's just principle is one thing, and he's full of it. You know what I'm saying? So he's not going to coach just to try to tank a game.
But he wouldn't mind. Being half a game behind Billy Donovan, believe me.
Yeah, no, you still have a half a season left over. It's not like if you're half a game or a game behind Chicago and They
Right.
get the honors.
With and again, and the Miami Heat, I think, are home the entire month of March, so they'll have plenty of time to make hay as they're doing now. Look at the homestand they've just been through, 3-1, play one game in Atlanta, another 4-game homestand, winnable games, Lakers, Knicks, Clippers, Raptors. This is what we were waiting for. This was when you were doing early in the season on these Acura Pembroke Pines reports, where is Ira? Because I was everywhere but home. Now there'll be plenty of home studios back in Weston to do these.
Yep. By the way, since you mentioned the Lakers, before we get back to the Heat, that mess now going on, and we talked a little bit about it yesterday. Russell Westbrook getting benched by Vogel, and this is kind of a thing that it's always been a talking point for all of us. Russell Westbrook, we admire the effort, the energy, all that stuff, but is it winning basketball what you're doing? A lot of times when we would watch Whiteside and he would pile up the stats, but they would lose anyways, and you're wondering, are these winning stats? These kind of things. Are you doing the things you need to do to win? And I think Frank Vogel and maybe the Lakers are finding out that Russell Westbrook is a very difficult person to try to figure out and how to win with him.
Well, and just all the fossils they brought in, all the older players, and bringing Dwight Howard back and bringing Trevor Ariza back and just going with so many old players. Look, it's LeBron James at 37 is better than 99% of the 23-year-olds, maybe 100% of them, to be honest, in the league. But you can't have everyone as an old player. And even Eric Spoelstra talks about he loves how his veterans have empowered his kids. So, yes, the Heat have 36-year-old PJ Tucker, 35-year-old Kyle Lowry, a bunch of 32-year-olds and Jimmy Butler and Markieff Morris. But on the other hand, they have the Tyler Heroes, the Caleb Martins, the Duncan Robinsons, the young players that balance this. You need the balance. And so the Lakers' failure is not a Frank Vogel failure. It's not a LeBron failure. It's not even a Russell Westbrook failure for this reason. Russell Westbrook is who he is, and you should have known who he is.
Right.
It's putting this roster together. It's that you look at players they sent away, like a Kyle Kuzma and what he's doing right now, or even Harold didn't work out great last year, but his rebounding and his vitality would be so helpful. Contavious Caldwell-Pope, another player. The Heat have realized the importance of supporting players. We're seeing that with Caleb Martin. We're seeing that with Max Strus. We're seeing that with Gabe Vincent. The Lakers would die to have some of these players. Instead, the young player they brought in was Kendrick Nunn, who got injured with a bone bruise at his knee, has yet to play this season, won't be playing most likely Sunday at FTX Arena when the Lakers arrive. This is a Rob Pelinka front office thing, and everyone else is just getting thrown in there. So Russell Westbrook takes the fall. So Frank Vogel takes the fall. But this team was poorly conceived. All of that said, Big O, if Anthony Davis, LeBron James are healthy for the playoffs, I still think that two-man crew without back-to-back games still can be a threat, because that's about as good of a two-man game as you can get if Anthony Davis can get and stay healthy.
Yeah, that's the question, is stay healthy. That's something that he just hasn't been able to do. Do you think Vogel survives all of this? Because I don't think Frank Vogel's a bad coach, dude. I
don't think he's a great coach either. I don't think he's a championship coach like the Lakers were in the 2020 bubble. I think he's okay. They would have rather have had Tyronn Lue, but Tyronn Lue had certain demands the Lakers were unwilling to meet, so they moved in a different direction. But the question right now with the Lakers is who else? David Fizdale filled in for 6 games when Frank Vogel was in protocols and the Lakers went 1-5. So you're hardly inspiring comfort if Fizz, the former Heat lead assistant, is the guy who's put there. So it's a matter of on that staff, probably not anyone else. Phil Handy had a run-in with LeBron James recently, even though they have a long history. I'm not sure about head coaching type situation there. Kurt Rambis could, I guess, be brought back. His name has been mentioned, but his wife works for the Lakers front office, a little nepotism there. So it's not like there's an easy answer at this point of the season. Look, the easiest answer is what we've always said over the years. Just name LeBron coach, because he coaches the team anyway. But that's not going to happen.
Right. It's crazy, man. What's going on there with the Lakers? All right. Moving over this way. Personal issues for Lowry continue.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. What I was told was a family matter. But, as you know, family first. It's a priority. And if there's something going on with someone in your family, to concentrate on anything else becomes difficult. So, again, I never put myself in someone else's shoes, whether it's a personal issue with Kyle Lowry, whether it's Markieff.
Think of this COVID in today's world, man. That's
but it's not his COVID, or else he would have to be listed.
That's what I'm saying. That's what it seems like. it's somebody really close to him
Right.
that might.
And we know, we all have friends. We've seen what's going on with their very good
Larry
friend, Larry
Blustein right
Blustein,
now, man. Larry
and we're
Blustein.
all hoping for him. Please, people, there's a GoFundMe page for him. My
Yes.
wife yesterday went out and, made a donation. If everyone just gives a little, everyone who Larry Blustein touched over the years, that will
Amen.
go a long way toward helping in his recuperation. So again, you can find it. It's on David Wilson's Twitter page. I don't know if you have it on yours.
Post it. We have it here, Sean. Show it to folks. We have the GoFundMe link there. Also, I don't know if we can put it on the YouTube page, Sean. I don't know if we can add it. Well, maybe because we're on live already, you can't add it anymore. But I know Sean has the GoFundMe.
Right.
Here we
Hi,
go.
Sean.
Hey, Sean.
It is on our YouTube page. I misunderstood the instructions.
Okay.
The GoFundMe link is on our YouTube and on the channel page of YouTube.
There you go. See, that's
why put it up to be posted on here because they couldn't click on it from here. So I put it where they can click on it and take you to the page.
That's what a great producer does.
And anyway, so that's important. People get out there. Let's all help Blue. And when it comes to Kyle, again, look, some people publicize or make public because they need to their situations. Other people want privacy. It's the same thing right now when people are talking about Markieff Morris's whiplash. Again, you talked to us about your incident, years back when you were in, I believe, a car accident.
B210.
Yeah, it could be a 3-month injury. But again, I am never going to criticize someone who's putting family first or someone who's taking care of their health first whenever. And the remarkable thing to sort of bring this full circle and full cycle is they still find a way to win. They've won 15 of their last 20 games when they've missed Jimmy Butler for an extended period, Bam Adebayo for all but 2 of those games, Kyle Lowry for 2 of those games. People come, people go, people get COVID. We see people like Mario Chalmers stop by for a cup of coffee. It's remarkable. So what you talked about with Pat Riley and what he did, and their exposure continued, when you have a culture of winning and of success, everyone gets initiated. I still don't have the secret handshake, but clearly there must be one.
I mean, God, it's just that's why I started the conversation with Spo being, it's just what he's doing night in and night out, year in and year out, and every kind of different team that he's already been handed, throughout his career, and he's had to change offenses 3-4 times in a season at times of what
defenses right now. When they were playing with Omar Yurtseven and Dwayne Dedman, they were playing drop coverage. Now, the end of the Portland game. This was Pat Riley's dream scenario. Eric Spoelstra mentioned it. You had basically 5 guys totally switchable. So every time Portland we got someone to pick and roll, there's Bam. There's Caleb Martin. And something interesting there, Big O, to think about down the road. We talked about Tyler Hero. 6th man of the year. He's a lock. The betting odds, you can't even get a price on him anymore. But he was not in at the close of that game, and instead they were able to have 5 defensive presences out there. So this still is going to raise a little bit of a question of, can you play Tyler late in those kind of games? Can you play Duncan Robinson late in those type of games? Because with the way the Heat were switching on defense, I mean, even the Blazers said, what the hell? We ran our page. We were supposed to get the mismatch, and there was the beard of Caleb Martin screwing everything up. It was remarkable what they did. I know Portland was shorthanded. No Damian Lillard, no Larry Nance Jr. They didn't have their full team right there. But still, the way the Heat smothered, it's like one of my Ask Ira questions today. Why aren't the Heat getting more national television games? Because the Heat are being gritty and grinding. And it might not be sexy. But what I told the reader was this. You know what's sexy? The standings. I have a picture of the standings in my office right now. It's not exactly a pinup or anything. But damn, when you look at this team's record and where they are with all they've gone through, that to me still is pretty damn sexy.
Yeah, and in the end, by the way, Miami was missing players, Portland was missing players. But if they're both loaded, Miami's deeper, and that's the bottom line.
Crazy deep that Omar Yurtseven plays 7 seconds. And what a shame that his consecutive game double-digit rebounding streak ends because at the end of a second quarter, Spo doesn't want Bam or Dedman to get another foul. So instinctively he says, okay, go in, Omar. And then after the game, I mean, Tim Reynolds pointed this out to me, and I'm sitting there, I'm going, holy crap. He ended his consecutive rebounding streak, 14 games with double-digit rebounds because of 7 stupid seconds. Usually it's the opposite. A guy has a consecutive games played streak. We saw this at a final regular season game. I think it was a lineman for the Titans. He went in for 1 play and then came off the field just to keep his streak alive. Usually that's when you play guys for 7 seconds. In this case, I'm going to ask Spoelstra today, about half an hour from now at the shoot around here at State Farm Arena, if he knew what that moment meant. But you know what? Spo don't give a rat's ass about stats. He cares about
winning. Yeah, he's thinking about winning at that point. And by the way, Yurtsevin, you're a slacker. You had 7 seconds to get a double-double. Let's go.
And he didn't do a goddamn thing.
Got to give him a little edge energy drink so you get more energy there in those 7 seconds. All right. By the way, speaking of defense, is there any chance that Trae Young overdosed on NyQuil last night just to try to get some sleep? Because he's got to face Caleb Martin tonight.
That's the thing is, I don't know if he slept at all because he was going to have his Caleb Martin nightmares. You know what? Of all the people who looked at the Heat injury report, you probably have someone like Trae Young who wanted Lowry to play, who wanted Tyler Hero to play, just so there would be less Caleb Martin or maybe no Caleb Martin at the start. To refresh people, last Wednesday, God, I'm living in Atlanta. The Heat came in, Caleb Martin shut down Trae Young, the Heat won going away. Friday night, the teams meet again in Miami. Jimmy Butler's doing okay-ish against Trae Young, but at the end of the game, Eric Spoelstra puts Caleb Martin on him. Same story. After that game, Jimmy Butler says, hey, if Spo wants to start Caleb Martin on Trae Young so I don't have to run around chasing that young little guy, I'll be happy. Well, here we are in Atlanta 8 days later, and now they have a chance, if they want, to start Caleb Martin or at least use him against him. Look, here's the opposite of it, though, and you know this, Big O. Eventually, a player says enough is enough. So this could be the opposite effect. It could be Trae Young, screw Caleb Martin, and maybe when we do our Acura Pembroke Pines report on Monday, we're talking about how, the revenge of Trae Young. So let's see how this plays out first.
Yeah, and by the way, but if Caleb does have success on him, it'll be the opposite of what you're talking about. Maybe now he's living in his head.
And then, so, you know what, we'll be talking all defensive team level player, whether he's a starter or not. So it really is interesting.
Yeah, no, what a just, and by the way, when you hear him talk and, that Jimmy says, hey, I'm out, you got to replace Jimmy and I got to be Jimmy and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you think about that. This is a kid that's, coming off the street and all of a sudden he's become a major part of this team and a guy that is so trusted. And by the way, we don't give enough credit to Jimmy Butler on how he helps develop and instill confidence in these guys.
And infuses the confidence, and that makes a difference. So sort of when we're doing our all-time great two-way contracts, probably the debate right now is down to Caleb Martin, what he's done for the Heat, and when the Lakers picked up Alec Caruso on a similar contract. And they're sort of on the same career track, guys who blossom in the opportunity and then get to move on to bigger contracts. So it's going to be interesting come this summer when the Heat have to negotiate again with Caleb Martin.
And both guys made their mark first by making defensive plays and then then
grinding in the G League. And you know what? When a grinder thrives, that's never going to end. He might not score. He might not give you numbers, but grinders, as I think you told me many years ago, grinders gonna grind. So you know he's going to grind if nothing else.
Well, you got one that's been grinding for 20 years on the bench. His name is UD. That's the ultimate grinder right there, man. Overall. All right. So injury wise, anything else? Everybody else?
Pretty copacetic. They're just without, the 5 guys, Markieff, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, they're down sort of course, KZ Okpala. I don't know why always. And then of course we're waiting on Victor Oladipo. And again, people are asking me, I don't have an insight. The Heat have been very close to the vest. All I know is this. Victor Oladipo shows up for every home game, is very actively dancing during the timeouts, seems to be moving well. So look, at worst, if he can't play, he probably can be part of some type of halftime dance-off. So at least we have that right now. And we wait.
Yeah. And by the way, let's end it with this. Folks, relax. They don't need him right now. They're winning a ton.
Yeah, you know what? And I don't know, Big O, I don't know if you want to add the 2 words at the end of your sentence right now. Because remember when they tried to rush Alonzo Mourning back after his kidney illness in that one playoff series, sometimes when you've got a good thing, you just enjoy a good thing.
Right. And you're going to have the luxury of bringing him back whenever he is 100% ready, and you can ease him into the lineup. It's not, oh, crap, we're 5 games out of the 4th spot, 5th spot, and we've got to kill ourselves. And Deepa, we need you, savior. No. It's complimentary, then elevating to being a featured guy. So the ultimate luxury for the Heat has happened this season. They've developed depth that we never saw. They're better than we ever thought they were.
Correct.
They're at the top of the standings, and there is no hurry to bring back Oladipo. Let him be 100%.
Right.
So that way, when he does come back, he is complementing a championship caliber type team. Boom.
Absolutely agreed. Interesting weekend tonight. Atlanta, Lakers on Sunday. I'll be right back here on Monday. Acura Pembroke Pines report. And 15 of 20 now, maybe 17 of 22 by then. We will see, Big O.
Don't take those curtains home with you. All right, man. Have a great week.
Beautiful. See you, Big O. Thanks.
You got it. There you go. The great Ira Winderman from the South Florida Sunset on our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
This is the Big O Show.